We can learn a lot about movies. That is, if you watch the right movie. Like, we can learn perseverance if you were to watch the movie Pursuit of Happiness, or how to kill aliens, like in the movie Men in Black, or how to kill aliens, like in the movie Independence Day. I should really stop watching so many movies by Will Smith. Welcome to my channel. My name is Stout Dad, and if you're anything like me, you probably like watching movies. Well, I like to learn from them too. If you enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like. It means more than you'd probably guess. Have you ever seen the movie Tokyo Drift? I mean, it's the one with the song about drifting in Tokyo. Well, if you haven't seen it, I think it's got a pretty good example of how goals actually work. I think people struggle with goals because they're kind of given bad advice about them. They always think the goal is, well, not what the goal is. And I'd like to get into that topic on this video, so hang tight. Maybe you'll learn something. Well, if you've never seen the movie, here's a little background about it. There's this kid named Sean. He's really into cars, and he happens to end up racing this other kid who's driving a Viper. And he ends up trashing an entire subdivision full of houses that are being built. It doesn't go very well with the police, because he's been in trouble before with the police, and he ends up getting shipped to Japan, where his dad lives. If you ask me, that sounds like a cruel and an unusual punishment, but then again, in public school you have to take language arts, and that's also a cruel and unusual punishment. Anyway, during his time in Japan living with his dad, he ends up getting into Japanese drift culture, which is not too surprising. He gets into it due to his friend Twinkie, and he ends up destroying this man named Han's car. Probably because he thought he could drift, even though he couldn't even drive. I mean, he destroyed an entire subdivision, but if you ask me, that just kind of sounds like your average teenager. A few things happen, and he ends up deciding to learn how to drift via Han. Han decides to teach him. Now, a lot of people would like to think that this is the goal. The goal is to learn how to drift, but that's kind of where people get confused about goals. See, his actual goal is something slightly different. And I believe if you understand this topic, I think you'll do better with your own goals. See, the main distinction I like to make is what is drifting? What makes him hit that goal? What makes him a drifter? Well, could be he learns how to drift one corner. Boom, he knows how to drift. Could be two corners. Where's the goalpost? Kind of just sounds like there isn't one. Isn't a goal a goalpost? I think what confuses people about goals is they often set a goal that's completely within their control. Something like going to the gym every single day or beating up 10 random children in the street a week. That's maybe not be the easiest thing on the planet to do, but you completely control the outcome. Bear with me for a minute and let's just rewrite this goal. The gym one, because obviously the other one has no problems. That is a great goal. For instance, maybe your goal is to double your endurance and double your strength. That's quite a bit different, isn't it? Let's start off by figuring out what we would need to do to maybe double our endurance. Well, one of the best ways I can think of would probably be going for jogs. And to double your strength, you'd do something similar. You'd just lift up weights until you get better at it. You're also going to need a baseline, something to compare to, so you actually know if you've hit your goal. In the movie, Sean naturally has a baseline. He is drifting against the Drift King, the man that he loses against, and he ends up destroying Han's car. That's pretty bad. He does a horrible job. How would you maybe set a baseline? Well, a good way I could think of is look up on your maps and see something that's a half mile away and jog there as fast as you can without taking any breaks. Then jog back and have it timed. See how long it takes you. Now lift up weights as much as you can without hurting yourself and write that down. You're going to want to remember these numbers. They'll become very important. Now for your practicing. You're probably going to want to wait a couple days before you get into practicing just so you can not hurt a lot. And what you're going to do is you're just going to jog as hard as you can and lift as much as you can. Try to really push yourself. See where your real limits are. In the movie, Sean does this. He ends up practicing drifting, and he's horrible. He crashes into everything. There's nothing wrong with being horrible at the thing that you're trying to get good at. There's only something wrong with quitting. After weeks of practice, you'll notice that that jog isn't so hard and that weight isn't as heavy. You'll start getting closer to your goal. Now, your goal was to be able to be stronger. His goal was to win a race. You see how those are different from working out every day? His goal is to win a race. He can't choose if he wins the race. He can only choose how hard he tries. It's the same with you. You don't get to choose if you become stronger. You just get to choose how hard you try to become stronger. Now my question for you is, what happens when you do hit your goal? Well, nothing. You'll find that nothing happens. You won't feel stronger or anything. You'll just be like, oh, I did it. And you'll start to realize that the goal is not what makes you feel good. It's progressing. It's progressing towards that goal. You see, the drug that you were chasing that whole time, you thought it was getting to your goal. But was it? The reason you got up every day, was it because you wanted to hit your goal, or was it because you felt good? It made you happy, right? It made you feel strong. Hitting your goal doesn't make you feel strong. Progressing makes you feel strong. Now, back to Sean. His goal was to become a drifter, to win a drift race. And this does happen. He is able to defeat one of DK's goons. And in doing so, he notices that he hasn't hit the heights that he wants to hit. And he practices even harder. It's time for you to do the same. Now you must set a loftier goal. If you don't, then you won't keep on progressing, will you? Another thing people often don't talk about when it comes to hitting their goals is that they always think they need to do it alone. When you get to this point, you can't anymore. You've hit the point of no return, where it's time to start making friends that know more, because you probably don't know that much about your goal. And you're gonna keep hitting walls if you don't. Now this happens in the movie, in fact. He ends up getting challenged by the Drift King in a race, and well, he doesn't have a good enough car, and well, he doesn't know everything he needs to know at this point. He ends up getting friends. They help him build a car. They help him understand drifting even better, and he ends up getting to the race. This is quite possibly his biggest goal, to beat Drift King, specifically in a drift race. Now the question is, why? Why is this the big goal? Because it's the highest height that he can think of. Everybody has said it's impossible to beat the Drift King. But he's already learned how to drift, which I'm sure he thought was impossible. So he made the possible, well, he made the impossible possible. And that is what he shoots to do this time. The big day comes, and Sean is racing against the Drift King. What do you think happens? It's an American movie, so obviously Sean wins. But the question to me, for the spirit of argument, would be, if he didn't win the race, did he miss his goal? Did he hit his goal or not? Well, a lot of people would say, no, he didn't hit his goal. His goal was to win the races. And does that mean that he's not allowed to lose a race here or there? I think that it does mean that he's allowed to lose a race here or there. Now let's imagine your goal. Let's imagine that you're not able to keep progressing, that you hit a limit, you hit a wall. Does this mean that you've failed your goal, or that you're a failure? I don't think so. I think it just means that maybe you need a different goal. Not an easier goal, just a different goal. Maybe you just need to switch it up a little bit. Not everybody's capable of everything, but everybody is capable of success. The only failure is not getting back up. Just let that sink in. Have a lovely night.